right, so sports. This is my second segment, my second edition of my podcast. I split up my podcast, so go look at the other version of my podcast and, for the pop culture and stuff and the current events and all that. But this one is strictly sports. So, like I said, I noticed that people were clicking off when I got to sports. So what I'm going to do now is just have a separate podcast for sports. So it should be fun. I'm a diehard sports fan. I love sports. And what I'm going to do is continue my series from the NFL and the NBA. Obviously, the playoffs are going on right now. So, you know what? Let's get into the NBA first. Chris Paul and Patrick Beverley. I got to get into this. I got to get into that. So, Chris Paul and Patrick Beverley, obviously two of the dirty players in the NBA. So, they play within the gray area a lot. So, the mocking that Patrick Beverley was doing to CP3 and CP3 flopping all over the place. I mean, am I a big fan of it? Not really, but does it have its place in basketball? It's sad to say, but it really does. I think it's deep down, I think it is mutual respect for them, but it's just the fact that Chris Paul really gets under people's skin to the point where Patrick Beverley is shoving this man. He didn't even care. He just got ejected. Who cares? I picked the Clippers in 7 to win that series. I was obviously wrong. Shout out to the Suns. They are basically the most healthiest team right now. So it honestly, it's the Suns series to lose. For the championship. It's their series to lose, and I'm here for it. If the Bucks were fully healthy, they would be the favorites. But Giannis hyperextending his knee, that looks so bad. I'm just glad it didn't snap all the way back. But if they were fully healthy, they'd be the favorites. So, yeah. Jamison Crowder. Let's talk about Jamison Crowder. Possibly the most underrated person in the NBA. Clutch shot after clutch shot, clutch three, I might add. Plays great defense. I don't know why he bounced around for so many teams. This man he can ball. He's very underrated. This man can ball. And he is the X factor most nights for the Phoenix Suns. I didn't say the best player. He's an X factor. If he's playing well, the Suns usually win their games. If he's not, but Giannis and the Hawks, the Bucks and the Hawks, Chris Middleton has to be consistent. He's not consistent enough for me, and I really hate that because I think he's a good player, but he just doesn't show it every night. But they do have a lot of depth, and depth is winning this series against the Hawks. So I'm still gonna say the Bucks in 6. They're gonna win Saturday, and they're gonna close out this series. Trae Young, this man is gonna be an All-Pro, an All-Star, everything that you can think of. This man is gonna be it. But they need more on Atlanta's team. They need more. They need a couple more superstars, or at least one superstar and, a really, really good player. That's just my opinion. Can't win with just one superstar. Serena Williams tearfully exits Wimbledon suffering a leg injury. Now, this is so sad to see. She gives it all on the tennis court every time, but it's just time and time again after she was pregnant and she won Wimbledon, I believe it was. And she's an all-time great, and you just hate to see all-time great players in any sport have their season cut short, especially because of an injury. Serena goes on to say, "I was heartbroken to have withdrawal today after injuring my right leg. My love and gratitude are with the fans and the team who make being on the center court so meaningful. Feeling the extraordinary warmth and support of the crowd today when I walked on and off the court meant the world to me. It's a great champion. It's a great champion. I'm not getting emotional, but it's just like, you really hate to see that, especially being a man and seeing a woman it hits different. It hits different, trust me. The Portland Trail Blazers, the NBA's first ever cryptocurrency jersey patch. Now, they're releasing an NFT in a couple weeks to celebrate this too, a non-fungible token. Basically, cryptocurrency is going to be the next best thing to real money, if not replacing money in the near future, like paper bills. Storm X is a cryptocurrency that basically like Dogecoin and, Bitcoin, all that stuff. So they had to deal with an NBA team. So as of right now, their stock is at 2 cents. I'm not a financial advisor, but people need to invest in this stock. This stock is going to go, this cryptocurrency is going to go crazy. You're going to make some money, in my opinion. I've already invested some, so, go ahead, go on my website link and go on Robinhood and stuff and, get that free stock, get that free information from cryptocurrency and stuff. Robinhood in public, go ahead. But yeah, anyway, the Portland Trail Blazers have their first cryptocurrency sponsor. And this is huge. This is really huge because I feel like Doge will be somewhere in the Mavericks, stuff. They're already accepting Dogecoin for like tickets and jerseys and all that stuff. So why not any other cryptocurrency? I'm here for it all. I'm here for the growth. This is crazy. Josh Gordon applies for reinstatement in the NFL. So this man, he was with the what's that league? The fan controlled football league with Johnny Manziel. And he wants to come back in the NFL, obviously. So my thoughts on this is I really hope that Josh Gordon gets clean first and foremost. He has a drug addiction issue, and I want him to be clean for the bottom line. If he's nothing else, I just want him to be clean. He's a great talent. This man took over my fantasy league when he was a rookie, but it's things bigger than football that he needs to address. And drug addiction is definitely not something to just play around with. The NCAA clears student athletes to make money on NIL. But NIL is name, image, and likeness deals. So there are athletes literally getting paid from PetSmart, from just regular sponsors now. Like an influencer, they can make money now doing that stuff. They couldn't at first. They were basically the school's property. Like you couldn't do anything, you couldn't make money, like whatever, outside of school. Just because they got a free education, I mean, there's other things to life than the free education. How are you going to eat? How are you going to make money to do stuff? Like, how are just, have money in your pocket. And these kids are getting deals from PetSmart and, all these other places now, energy drinks and all that. So they don't have to be so reliant on the university to take care of their every single need that they have. because the university was making money off of their name by the jerseys and all that other stuff. Now, a portion of that is going to go to their families and them. That's huge. That is really huge. I don't think that that's registering with a lot of people. That they were really basically working for free, just for the free education. Look, I would have loved to have a scholarship to go to, somewhere to play football to get a free education. I would have loved that. But it's the fact that, let's say I get a scholarship to go to Oregon to play football, right? I'm winning the Heisman, or I'm, first team. I have a good personality, and I'm, being marketed on all these campaigns and stuff like commercials or all that. I'm getting none of that money prior to today. But now I'm getting some of that money because it's my name, not the university making money off of my name. I think that's a big step. That is a huge step. And we're going to see bigger steps in the future, in my opinion. Now, I saved this one for last before I get into my series. Y'all know I had to get into Sha'Carri Richardson. So, she was suspended from the Olympics for a failed marijuana test. She's banned for 1 month after testing positive for marijuana, forcing her out of the 100-meter race at the Tokyo Olympics. Now, this girl found out her mother died from a reporter. Let me say that again. She was being interviewed, and she found out her mother died from that reporter. Okay? She's banned for 30 days because she smoked marijuana to cope with that burden. I found out my father died on my birthday on a phone call. That shit hurts. Okay, let's get that. Let me make that very clear. However, she owned up to the mistake that she made by smoking marijuana. Is smoking marijuana bad? No. However, those are the rules. She acknowledged that she knew that those were the rules. She made her own decision. She owned up to it. She's taken the suspension. Boom. We're done. In my personal opinion, I don't smoke marijuana. So I can't say how or why she would want to or how she felt afterwards, but coping with that type of pain rather than turning to something more serious like an opioid, I have no problem with that. I have no problem with anyone that smokes marijuana for anything, any type of reason, whatever. Having fun or anxiety, whatever. I don't care. It's just not something I've been interested in. I never have been. Do I think it's safe? Safer than other alternatives of, pain relief? Yeah, for sure. Just because I haven't done it doesn't mean I, can't advocate for it. But rules are rules. She broke them. She's paying the consequences. That's the bottom line. She owned up to it. It's nothing more that you can do. I'm still standing by her side. I'm still going to root for her. She'll be cleared to compete on July 27th which means she can realistically perform in the women's relay race. However, she will miss the 100-meter race, which she qualified for by winning in the trials with a time of 10.86. So she'll basically be able to do everything else but what she was basically getting traction for on Twitter as of recently, before the, drugs thing. I just hope that she is okay, and I hope that she finds help dealing with this, because dealing with that alone is very challenging. She goes on to tweet, "I am human," and she apologizes to her fans, family, and the haters. It's a strong girl, and she needs our prayers at this time. But with that being said, we're going to go into this series. And the series that I'm talking about is basically in the NFL. Obviously, this is the off season, so I'm going to be going through the teams that basically all 32 NFL teams and their off season, what they did and how they did it, and giving them a letter grade and stuff like that. So yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. I'm going with the AFC South this time, so I'm going to start with the Tennessee Titans. And me being a Ravens fan, the Tennessee Titans scare me on offense even more now, because on top of Derrick Henry, they got A.J. Brown, and then they got Julio Jones. I didn't want us to get him. I'm kind of glad we didn't get him. Not because that he isn't great as a Ravens fan, but I need to see improvement in the passing game before I want that star, So the Titans are going to be a great team record-wise because they're in a very bad division. So I'm not really, I'll see them in the playoffs. We'll see them in the playoffs for sure. Their depth chart is it's incredible. Offensively, their depth chart is incredible. I can't really say anything. There's nothing that I'm hesitant about besides the tight end. They lost their tight end to the Patriots, but when you got a Julio and Josh Reynolds and A.J. Brown and Derrick Henry, what's the point? You just have the tight end to block. But yeah, they have a decent defense. It's not great, but the defense is decent. They'll keep them in games. So I think they'll go probably 11-6. Yeah, I'm gonna say 11-6. And they'll be first in the division, of course, because their division is just terrible. So the next team in the AFC South, I'm going to go with the Jacksonville Jaguars. So they obviously got Trevor Lawrence and Gardner Minshew. He's probably going to get traded soon. Travis Etienne, they got him in the draft as well. Trevor Lawrence is a guy from Clemson. That should be a good, 1-2 punch. The receivers are decent. I want to see Laviska Shenault take that next step because I liked him coming out of college last year. So he should be doing something well for them. Their defense leaves a little bit to desired. I like Shaquille Griffin. They got him in the offseason. I like C.J. Henderson. He's pretty fast. He needs to, tighten up his game a little bit. Sidney Jones and Chris Claybrooks, both of them need to tighten up their games a little bit. Cle'Veon Chason, they got him in the draft last year. He needs to step up. Miles Jack is a great middle linebacker, or they got him on the right now, but is what it is. Miles Jack is a good player. Josh Allen is a good player on the D line. They got a good defense, but they're just really young right now, so don't expect a lot out of them. I'm gonna go with 5-12. Yeah, I'm gonna go with 5-12. The extra game is killing me. I'm so used to, saying 4-12, 11-5, stuff like that, but this extra game is killing me. So the next in the AFC South is the Houston Texans. So I don't know what they're doing with Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson needs to get his stuff together, because if not, then Tyrod Taylor will be starting. And Tyrod Taylor's a good quarterback. I like him, even though he came out of Hampton. That's where I'm from, so I'm a little bit biased, but it don't matter. Tyrod Taylor's a good quarterback. He hasn't gotten a fair shake, but nothing's fair in life, so what can you really do? They got a good receiving core: Brandon Cooks, Randall Cobb, Kiki QT. David Johnson, he leaves a lot to be desired. They got my guy Mark Ingram as third string. Oh, man. Wow. They got David Johnson starting, and then Phillip Lindsay is his backup. The Texans are not a good team. I'm sorry. They're just not a good team. They would leave a lot to be desired. I'll be shocked if they go 4-13. I'll be shocked if they win 4 games, for being honest. They leave a lot to be desired. Their top cornerback is suspended. They got rid of Will Fuller, and he was a good receiver. David Johnson's never been that guy since he got hurt, and they don't have their starting quarterback. So, what am I supposed to think? And last but not least for the AFC South is the Indianapolis Colts. So the Colts, they obviously got Carson Wentz. I think his career will be revived in Indianapolis, and I think Jonathan Taylor will take that next step as a running back. T.Y. Hilton, he's a little bit up there in age, and we were supposed to get him too, but he ended up going back to Indy, where he's familiar with, which I can't really blame him for that either. But they have a decent receiving core. T.Y. Hilton, Michael Pittman, Paris Campbell, Jack Doyle, the tight end. He's a little bit up there, but he's a good receiving tight end. And Mo Alley Cox, too, from VCU. Shout out to Mo. Eric Fisher, Quentin Nelson, Ryan Kelly, Mark Lewinsky, and Braden Smith, the best offensive line in football. Period. There's no debate about that. They drafted Kwity Paye out of Michigan. They got DeForest Buckner on the line. They got a good D-line. They got a really, really good linebacker in Darius Leonard, and their secondary just leaves a little bit to be desired. That's gonna be this team's weakness, that secondary, and I think they're gonna lose quite a few games because of that secondary. So I'm gonna go with 8-9 at best. 8-9, 9-8, or around there. And yeah, that's it for my sports edition of my podcast. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for tuning in. Go ahead and follow me on my social networks. Go on my website, my bio. Click on all the icons. Go ahead and follow me. I'm not too good for a follow back. Nobody is. So go ahead and send me some stuff. Send me some sports. Send me some stuff from your team. I'll get into something from your team, my opinion on it. Basketball or football, hockey, it don't even matter. Baseball, my Orioles are just so trash right now. I don't even want to think about baseball right now. But yeah, so that's what it is. Thank y'all for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Y'all take care.